All right, here we go. You ready for this? Old hat.
I'm ready.
Let's do this.
All right.
All right. Welcome, everyone, to a special episode of Comic Chat with Gat, Bachelor Party Edition.
He's here.
As you guys know, Taylor moved to Seattle many months ago, which canceled our show with his just pure selfishness. But I had the ability to come out to Seattle this weekend, and we decided, instead of going out and seeing all the great sights as we've done and we'll get into, let's go and stay inside in a abnormally hot, for Seattle, 95-degree day with no air conditioning and film a podcast for you guys because we have gotten a lot of response for it, and it's here. So, hi, I am Chris Gadley, the titular Gat. And then there is Comic Chat with, also known as Taylor Catcher.
Hello.
All right, so on today's show, we're going to go over a little bit of what these shirts are. Again, here for the Bachelor Party, if you guys have ever come to Seattle, really great stuff. But if you want to skip right to the comic portion of this, where we go over some of the top comics over the last couple months, there are probably close to 100. We won't be going over all of them, but we're going to have a nice little list. Go ahead and click the button right here, and it will direct you straight to the video. Otherwise, let's get right into it. Taylor, I'm here for my Bachelor Party. You've been here for how many months now?
Since March, so 5?
Yeah, so you have a pretty good area that you're staying in called Capitol Hill. If anyone from Seattle is able to know that, be like, whoa, representing the CH. But first thing we did, we went to this place called Lake 22. Mm-hmm. Really cool. We went hiking, and then what Taylor was explaining to me was that there was like a lake, and I was like, cool, we're walking to a lake. That's fine. I'm from Florida. So when you see mountains, that's astounding to me. But when you go vertically anywhere, that's astounding to me because in Florida, I can pretty much see Georgia from my backyard. So we're hiking for like probably an hour and a half, and then all of a sudden we hit this clearing, and it's a lake on top of a mountain. People, it's called Lake 22. Very cool stuff.
Great hike.
Yeah, that was a great hike. It was really neat. Some other stuff we did out here. We hit up. What's that road? What's the thing we did last night?
We did a bunch of stuff on like near Broadway, like a bunch of breweries. Went to Optimism Brewing Company.
Yeah. Shout out to Optimism. They were really great.
Unicorn.
Optimism was the one, which is the one where I got my barbecue.
That was the Optimism.
Optimism, really great place. Thank you for that because
it was a food truck that had the barbecue.
Yes,
it wasn't Optimism.
But I was missing it, and Optimism found out, and they called the food truck in for me.
I secretly called them.
You didn't. He the whole weekend telling me we're not going to have any of that.
Yeah, there's no barbecue. It's hard to find barbecue in Seattle.
Well, imagine that I found it. So on my first night here. So anyway. Yeah. All right. So again, that was a quick recap. That was so fun.
Museum?
We of course went to the EMP Museum. Got to do some really cool stuff on the drums.
Living Computer Museum.
Which is both of those are heavily funded by Steve Allen?
Paul Allen.
Paul Allen. Sorry,
the co-founder of Microsoft because we're Seattle.
Yeah, and it was very interesting. You got to see some of the earliest computers and then some of the early games and how they were influenced and read and learn a lot. So that was really neat.
History of computers and or Microsoft at the same time.
So if anyone's thinking about traveling to Seattle, we are not sponsored by Seattle, but we should be. I'll reach out to Seattle Tourism Board after the episode. Yeah. And go to the EMP Museum. Go to the Living
Computer Museum.
It's like $6 to get in there. It's great. Go support that.
Awesome.
But otherwise, let's kind of get into the meat of the show because I don't know if you guys can see. We'll put like a little picture overlay of what this table looks like. But there are close to, I would say 60 or 70 comics that are sitting here, single issues that are sitting here, maybe a couple volumes. And we're not gonna go through every single one of them. That's a lot of stuff to go through for you people. I know you're here to learn about the latest things, and I wanted to kind of keep it as a topic of last week in comics, the ones that have come out recently that we wanted to touch down on, and then we're going to get into a more deep dive.
Like everything else.
Yeah, so last week in comics.
Okay, last week, Supergirl #1 came out. Batgirl and the Birds of Prey #1 came out. Batman #5, Superman #5, and I think that was and Green Arrow #5. Those are the big ones, the ones I read, I believe. So out of those, the Superman story, we'll get into it. I guess it's weird. It's kind of like last week in comics. This time is kind of like the major topic is what's worth reading in DC Rebirth, because that's what I've been spending. I would say a good 60 of these 70 books in front of us are DC Rebirth comics. There's just so many because they're coming out bi-weekly now. Yeah. With some of the comics. The strongest of this week's, I would say, is probably Detective was really good. Or no, sorry, it was Batman. Batman and Green Arrow. Green Arrow is fantastic every week. So Green Arrow was one of the stronger books. Batgirl, Birds of Prey. I'm kind of not so. I mean, I love Batgirl. So I love the Cameron Stewart, Babs Tarr, Brendan Fletcher Batgirl. Like the one that rebooted number 36 back in the Burnside. And I feel like right now, Nightwing is tackling Batgirl better than Batgirl is. Like she's showing up in Nightwing. Batgirl's Barbara Gordon.
Alternate universe? Because didn't she Okay.
She's the one that in The Killing Joke.
Right, yeah,
shot
I got
and paralyzed.
That. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like in where the place they got the idea in Arrow to give Felicity like a microchip that goes into that makes her walk. Same thing happened to Batgirl before that happened to.
Who did the Atom design the microchip for Batgirl too?
Well, it was Mr. Terrific that designed that in Arrow.
Right. What? I thought it was Ray Palmer.
No, Mr.
Palmer
Terrific,
Tech.
the black guy.
Oh, he's a dude. He's a superhero.
Mr. Terrific. He has the glowing. He's like floating T-sphere orbs, which you get to see in one of the shots, and you're like, ooh. Well, I was like,
In Arrow?
In Arrow, the black guy.
No, I know Curtis.
Is Mr. Terrific.
He will become.
He will become Mr. Terrific.
Thank you. Okay, yeah, because I was not a big fan of Arrow this season anyway, and
It was
I thought
better
I may
than
have missed
last
it.
season.
But debatable.
You think that
Too much of Felicity and too much of Felicity's mom.
Oh yeah.
I don't care.
I feel like they're doing too much Felicity in general.
Yeah.
Like, and then the fact that they killed, spoilers, but whatever.
Spoilers.
They killed Laurel, and I was finally liking Laurel. And what's interesting about
She
Rebirth,
had a great character arc, and it was finally coming to a head.
something.
Yeah. She was showing her worth and not just
And then they
screaming or
killed her.
being angry, and she
God,
died.
I was so pissed. I was like, of all the characters, I was kind of really bummed that was who they killed. Because also, bawling my eyes out.
Yeah, great scene.
Oh my gosh.
Great scene.
Oh.
Good job, Goog. It's Guggenheim. He's the guy who...
I got you, man.
Yeah.
I followed.
All right.
So, yeah, but that was interesting, especially with... It's interesting that they did that because, DC is somewhere, like, checking boxes, making sure everyone's doing things they want them to do.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that Green Arrow and Rebirth, half of Rebirth is, like, getting the relationships back to who they're supposed to be going with. So, Black Canary and Green Arrow are a couple again.
Yeah.
Lois Lane and Clark are a couple, not Lois Lane... Not Clark and Diana. Like, they're refreshing everything... to make it back to the way it was, so that all of the history of DC isn't lost, and like some of like the heart. Basically, they felt like the heart was taken out. That's what the Rebirth issue said. What we talked about last issue of this show.
Okay.
That the heart was gone of DC Comics. The 10 years wasn't just taking 10 years of life of everybody. It was also missing that special something. And I think they're doing it. They're doing a great job right now. But
all right, so let's talk strictly of last week's comics. What would you say the number one comic that people should pick up is? Whether it's a number 5 of Batman or a number 1 of Supergirl.
Supergirl and Green Arrow are the two that I like the best this week.
But we can only pick one for hashtag this week's last week.
Supergirl. This week's
Supergirl. Why?
Because it's got a really interesting. I see an interesting twist coming onto Cyborg Superman, which I love that character. And also, they just got Batgirl back to having her powers. They're having her go back to like high school and but as a sleeper agent. So instead of the idea of Kara Zor-El, because she comes to town, she's like, "Look, I'm already
Batgirl or Supergirl?
Supergirl, sorry.
Okay.
Supergirl comes to town, and she's like, I'm already kind of an adult. They sent me away later, right? That's
Okay.
the whole idea of
Sure.
Supergirl. She's like at least 15, so she's already alien, right?
Mm-hmm.
She comes there, and so it's kind of reversing that instead of like the show, which is kind of like, oh, she grew up trying to be fit in, and then she becomes Supergirl. It's like she's been Supergirl the whole time. Kind of like the idea that Clark Kent is actually the fake face of Superman, like Superman, who Superman is.
Yeah.
Is the real person.
Right.
Kal-El is the Superman, right?
Okay.
He's not Batman, who is a person that puts on a cape. The cape that Superman puts on are the glasses.
Jesus.
You know what I'm talking about, though?
Kinda.
The identity, he's hiding in the glasses.
Okay.
Right? He's hiding his true identity as a superpowered person by putting on glasses and a suit and baggy clothes to pretend
Right.
he's not superpowered.
You just call him Clark Kent.
Yeah, but Clark Kent is the costume for
Right.
Superman, right? But Batman, the costume is,
Bruce Wayne.
well, kind of. But he puts on the cape and cowl and it becomes
Yeah.
Batman, right? He's
Yeah.
hiding the Bruce Wayne, but Superman's
trying
hiding
to explain?
It doesn't matter, Chris. It would make sense. Some of the people get it. You don't get it. It's fine.
Let us know if you understood what the hell just happened.
Did you ever see the end of Kill Bill?
No, I've never even seen
Well,
Kill
Bill Volume 2 explained this very well.
Don't spoil it.
Watch Kill
I'd like
Bill.
to watch it
If
eventually.
you don't get what I'm saying, if I'm explaining it poorly, watch Kill Bill Volume 2 at the end. He explains it great.
Does she look like Supergirl from the TV show?
Yeah, blonde hair and everything.
Is that just normal?
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, so it's pretty cool. She's going undercover with fake parents to like try to infiltrate something that they haven't really talked about. But there's also the fact that like her dad, once she left, like kind of went off the deep end and was kind of a douche. Like
Okay.
once they shipped her off to go take care of Cal, but like she gets caught in the Phantom Zone and the years go by and he's already Superman by the time she shows up. Classic Supergirl.
What do you like about the first issue?
I just liked it. Just read it. It's good.
Just read it? Okay. Hashtag this week's last week, Supergirl number 1.
To be fair, week before, Superwoman is one of the better first issues in general.
How many super people are there?
There's a lot.
Was there a dog at one point?
Well, there's Crypto.
Would they have dogs
Superwoman
on
is probably
Krypton?
one of the better first issues. I was going to actually give that moniker. I wish we could do it with it's 2 weeks ago, but like
Yeah.
this week's are like whatever. What is it?
Hashtag this week's last week.
This week's last week it should be Superwoman, but it's kind of 2 weeks ago because that was phenomenal issue. Like really great. I would say that. But Supergirl's really good.
All right. So if you guys have a favorite comic that you read over the last week, please make sure to let us know using the hashtag this week's last week, or leave a comment in the YouTube video below that you're watching right now, because we'd love to hear about it. Because I don't have time to read all this, and that's why we're here. So that I don't have to read all this, and I get to learn about it, even though none of it makes sense.
I want to say, though, that you said this is a new show, and you're going to read everything, and that's the new thing.
Oh, I'm not doing that. I thought I was. The Rebirth issue that we did, the episode did a couple months ago, yeah, I tried real hard. Didn't work. Moving on. So the big topic this week is again, we have a list of everything that Taylor's read, and we're going to kind of scroll through it. And are you going to highlight the things that you thought were interesting? Or
I think we'll just talk about them later. Okay. I mean, just like after the list goes through. But this is our wrapping up the backlog is quite long, and so we're going to let that list go just so you understand the level of commitment I have to the show.
You should understand the level of commitment I have for the show. Not much.
Yeah. He's going to do the SEO, and he's going to complain about it. He's going to text me, and he's going to be like, oh, Taylor, all this work after I edit this video and do everything else.
Right.
But anyway, so we're going to let that list run as we talk amongst ourselves real quick, because it's quite a list. So
enjoy.
Yeah. So I think this is going pretty good. What do you think?
I would say it's going well. We have to put like some music going while it's going. That would be kind of fun.
Something. I'll think about it. I'll figure it out.
I still don't understand Supergirl, though. I don't get it. Who's Superwoman?
Superwoman is Lois Lane.
What?
And Lana Lang.
What?
We'll talk about that.
Who's Lana Lang?
Lana Lang is like his high school, his sweetheart from Smallville.
I don't know who that is. Lana from like Archer?
No, like Lana from Smallville.
And we're back. So
that was a list.
That was a list. That was a lot of stuff.
I remember when I showed it to you, and
it was dumb.
I typed it out.
It kept going. Like you just keep scrolling, and it just keeps going for a page and a half. But what we really want to talk about with this is let's kind of go through the small stuff first, and then the big topic is DC Rebirth. If you want to skip right to the DC Rebirth, kind of like the introspective of DC Rebirth and where it's going and what we should follow, what series we shouldn't follow, what our perspective is on that, go ahead and click the button right here. It'll skip you right to it. But if you had to, what did you read other than the DC Rebirth series that you really enjoyed?
Civil
Don't
War
talk about
2
everything. Civil War 2?
Great.
Which issue?
I mean, all of it.
What issue is it on now?
It's on like 3, I think, 3 or 4.
It got delayed recently, right? Isn't that thing?
You told me that. I don't know.
I
have so many books a week that I don't even care when things get delayed because I'm like, I can't.
$5 for a comic book is expensive.
That's the Marvel stuff still. Yeah, these are all $2.99 from.
Well, wasn't Detective $5 too, or
no,
an All Star? All Star was $5.
Yeah, because it's Scott Snyder's big deal, which we'll talk about. That's a big deal, but that's not DC Rebirth. Archie and Jughead still pretty strong. Jughead dipping a little bit.
Okay. Well, we thought Archie was dipping a little bit too.
Yeah, but Archie's back,
issue 6 now.
So it's on that's 6. We're on issue 9.
Oh God, I stopped at 3 once the lipstick incident came out. That's all I cared about. I just haven't gotten anything else.
Well, it's great. So it makes you care about Veronica. I think Veronica.
I don't like Veronica.
No, I don't. But I love how much she loves Archie. Like it's crazy how much she cares about him.
Which one's Veronica? Blonde one?
No,
Betty is the blonde, right?
Betty's the best.
Why would Veronica?
Hashtag Team Betty.
Okay, well. Go read. Well, you should definitely read Archie. That was our number one
comic of the
last year.
Yeah.
That was our comic of the year.
It's still going.
Go take a look. The artwork is really what makes
Volume 1 is available, so you can just buy in a trade. Same with Jughead, actually, and I really, really like Jughead. The collection of the ones of my favorites. So right after this volume, it kind of it changed creative teams a little bit. I mean, it's still Chip Zdarsky, but it was no longer Erica Henderson. And then so I think they were going. The Ryan North is taking over, who's also very great. Like he's an awesome. So I'm just excited to see where he goes with it because the petering out of the Chip Zdarsky stuff wasn't my favorite as much as the creative team of those two together with the ridiculousness of each issue, and it doesn't follow that same format of he has like a daydream. Yeah, he has a daydream where it's a pop culture reference that's not longer happening.
Oh.
So yeah, it's weird. After issue 6, so the first 2 volumes, volume 1 of both of those.
Okay.
Well,
speaking of Chip Zdarsky, he was an artist for something else that you read recently. Something that's not totally new, but it's something that's got kind of on your radar.
Kind of? Yeah. So, Sex Criminals.
Kind of a weird book to have on the plane, I would say.
It's weird. I would say weirder than Preacher. And Preacher was, I remember I talked about that on the show. Like, having to read that, there was a little kid next to me. I was like, this is really violent. Speaking of that, Preacher, now we're talking about that. The first episode was really good. I mean, it's Seth Rogen and
Evan Goldberg.
Evan Goldberg is the creative team behind that, doing something serious, and it's really well done. It's different than the book, and I think rumor is that it's kind of a prequel, so the actual book starts in season 2.
Okay.
But there is things that are similar and kind of like they kind of get to do their own story with these characters, and it's really good.
But Sex Criminals.
I mean, Sex Criminals. So yeah, Matt Fraction and Chip Zdarsky. It's got Comic of the Year from Time Magazine, Best New
What do
Series
you
of
like
the
about
Day.
it? You don't care about that.
Well, it's adult and not like a. It's hard to say. Like it's like an
It's
adult,
not
like
aggressively adult,
it's adult in like an FX show or like a.
but not HBO.
Well, I mean, I guess it is HBO. I mean, there's naked people, right? There's
Okay.
penises and stuff in here.
All right,
I think,
so
if I
HBO.
remember correctly. Maybe it's not. Maybe it just hints at it. I don't know, wait.
You're getting off track here. What do
Sorry.
you like about it?
It's two people. It's people that when they orgasm, they can stop time.
Cool. How long can they stop time for?
Until they're ready to go again.
That's cool.
So once they realize they're horny again, time will start.
Wait. Oh, so each orgasm is a stop time and start time? They can't just decide when...
No, it's kind of like you come, right?
Yeah.
And then once you can get hard on again, if you can get hard on again,
Sorry, this is
time starts again.
I guess. Okay. Okay, that's interesting.
So what happened to one of the characters, when he realized how his time problem worked, is he actually would stop time when he was a kid, because he was like 13 or something, going to the porn store and just take movies and stuff, because he could. And then he realized one time when he looked at a cover while he was in the porn store, like naked or like in his underwear, and he got up, like he got attracted again. Everyone saw him,
back.
and he was like, "Oh crap!" So it's very humorous. It's very well done. In volume 3, there's a super fun moment where no, it's not a spoiler.
Okay.
It's an interesting thing that Chip and Matt did, where they didn't know how to like write the scene. So it's a scene of them talking to each other, like the artist and the writer saying like, "How would we do this?" He's like, "I don't know. What if we did this? What if we just talked about us talking in the issue to talk about this? Yeah, maybe that'll work." And it's like 3 pages worth. It's just, I mean, really creative stuff.
Okay.
Well worth picking up. It's it's definitely a mature title, so you're gonna want to be an adult before you pick this up. But it's not pornographic or anything.
Okay, so sex criminals, definitely take a look at that. The next one, I'm a fan of 2. The Wicked and the Divine.
Yeah.
This is great. I have this. I bought this actually. Its art is very nice. It's very pretty.
Amazing.
So it's on volume 3 now, I think, or 4.
3 or 4 or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
So it's very good. Talk more about it. I know nothing about these. I just read it, but I thought it was very cool.
It's basically a story about like what if the gods would give people powers, but for 2 years then you die. Basically, you become a god, a living god. Like you'll be Lucifer, or you'll be a Greek god, Horus, or someone like that, which is obviously Egyptian.
And then they become celebrities, right?
And yeah, you basically are a celebrity because it's kind of playing on the fact that like our celebrities are gods nowadays.
Sure. Okay.
A little bit, but these they're beautiful people.
The big part about this is the artwork.
The artwork is
gorgeous.
Oh my god,
so
amazing.
It's really kind of quick. Just go take a look at it.
So
Yep. Lots of great colors. If you have a tablet, use the Comixology app to download it. If you have a
get the high resolution down.
Yeah, those are real good.
Wow.
Okay, so any other ones we're talking about before we get DC Rebirth? I see freaking Star Wars.
Yeah. Han Solo's new series good. Poe Dameron's new series pretty good. They have a C-3PO one-shot that talks about how he got his red arm.
Great. How did he get his red arm? I'll give you 1 sentence to describe it.
I don't want to talk about it.
Good.
But what's fun is you can also play that story in Lego Star Wars Episode 7.
Oh, yeah. Is that out?
Yeah, and it's great.
Is it?
It's like really, really good.
Cool.
Because they have all the side stories. And they actually wrote stuff that's canon that is only in the Lego game. That's like part of the universe. And they got all the original voice actors. So even like Harrison Ford saying dumb stuff like Wookiee cookies. And you're just like...
Is that a thing?
Is
that a reference I don't get?
It's in the...
Oh, okay.
But still, like, you got Harrison Ford to say that, good for you.
Alright, well... Go and read any. So okay, of the non-DC Rebirth over that giant list you read, which is the one comic, trade or not, that you would recommend people go pick up now?
Civil War 2 is super good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I don't read a lot of Marvel, like we know that right on the show.
Yeah.
And every time I get one of those, like it's one of the first things I pick up and start reading.
Interesting.
Although like the 2 volumes, which I feel like is a different situation, are.
I mean, you've got a nice little back issue of 3 to catch up on for Civil War 2. So there's our recommendation, Civil War 2. If you guys have one that you've read over the last couple months that you love, a new series possibly, or an old series that you just kind of went back and found again, let us know in the comments below or tweet at us at Comic Chat with Gat. Comic Chat WGAT.
Everywhere.
It's on the shirt. It's on the shirt. So the next one, the big reveal. DC Rebirth happened. All of the issues essentially reset to 0 or to new counts, whether it be like the Detective Comics and Action Comics. But the big thing is that we're gonna kind of let's kind of go through this slowly. What series Rebirth happened? Batman
Detective, so those go together. Superman Action.
Okay.
Wonder Woman, so that's the Trinity. We got that handled. There's actually Trinity Volume 1 coming out by WGAT. So anyway, it doesn't matter. So Wonder Woman.
Yep.
Titans.
Yep.
Flash.
Yep. Nightwing. Birds of Prey.
Batgirl and the Birds of Prey. Batgirl. 2 separate comics.
So we're at 10.
Red Hood and the Outlaws.
Green Arrow.
Green Arrow. I'm not stopped counting. I'm
Or
fingers.
12.
Deathstroke, Supergirl, Superwoman.
15.
Um,
So over 15 comics, we would assume,
Over
have done
15.
this rebirth. Of those, do you have one series that you would say you can probably skip?
yeah.
And I feel like this is pretty
So
easy
far, I mean, I really don't like Justice League.
Yeah, oh, that was the other one we didn't mention. So Justice League.
Justice League, I was like,
And there you go. Kind of forgot about it.
yeah. Like,
So
I'm at issue 2. I have issue 3 and 4, and when I was reading these to prepare for Chris and you, dear watcher, listener person, I was like, I just feel like it's better to spend time reading some of these other new things because it's just
what
kind of
don't you like about it?
I don't know. I'm just bored.
Okay.
I was like reading it. I'm like, I mean, the idea that where they're getting seems like kind of interesting, but not interesting enough that I would rather read that than something else.
Do they all start at 0? And 0 is the rebirth issue.
No,
and
they're
then
called
number
1 Rebirth, and then there's 1.
Okay.
So like you can see here, Nightwing Rebirth number 1, but then there's also Nightwing number 1, where the rebirth thing is kind of like this hot in the corner. So you know that the
Got
difference
it.
when the rebirth is like big, then
Okay.
and yeah, that's the difference.
Okay, so Justice League, I guess you can kind of take a pass on it.
Batgirl and Birds of Prey.
Probably skip it.
I mean, like, I like the idea there's more female leads. Like, I'm so excited about, like, a strong female book, but, like, I don't know. Like, I don't...
Just not entertaining. What is it? The art style? Is it the story?
It's the story. The art looks
It
great.
just might not connect with you. It just might not be the story.
Maybe someone else likes it. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I think that the guy who's writing, or guy or girl, I'm not sure who's writing Seeley, who's writing Nightwing, has Batgirl moments, and those are some of my favorite moments every time it happens because I love Batgirl so much. But he's handling her in this. I think he's trying to play her in the similar fashion that she was in the Batgirl Rebirth side stuff. And so I'm digging her. I was super excited to pick up Batgirl Birds of Prey. I was like, oh yeah, Batgirl. And I was just kind of bummed.
So I asked for your least favorite, and you gave me 2 because naturally you don't listen to the rules. So I'll give you the top 2 that you would recommend for people wanting to start the. Because for me, for example, I'm trying to do this. I failed miserably. But now that it's starting over, the rebirth, it's really easy to get into this. They're bi-weekly. They're, $3 an issue. So it's not too bad. They're not one of the things that I'm not really a fan of, but I understand why they're doing it. They're not going to be releasing volumes until March of next year. And the theory behind that is my own is it's kind of just because they don't want people to wait. Yeah, exactly. They don't want people to wait for these volumes to come out because, again, if they came out 4 months from the initial issue 1, then I would just say, okay, cool, I'll just wait 4 months and get the volume and then collect it, and if I don't like it, I won't read the other ones. But, again, I have read Arrow, huge fan.
Green Arrow.
Green Arrow was great.
Green Arrow Detective, to answer your question.
Green Arrow, that's not Flash.
Titans is important because it follows Rebirth.
I never said Titans. Flash.
Flash is good, but Green Arrow and Detective Comics are my 2 favorite right now.
Really? Okay, I'm surprised at that because I know you're a big fan of the Flash.
I love the Flash.
So that's very surprising. I read the first issue of the Flash and it was good. Great art style. Beautiful.
But as far as the only thing so far that I've read that's continuing on that Rebirth story, and I know that's important to people, right?
Yes.
I want to read Titans, so it's about Wally, right? Which makes sense. He's rekindling the Titans and getting all of them together. That's the only thing that seems to be really touching on what the fuck the Rebirth thing's going on.
Okay.
But shout out to Snickers because they must have spent a godly amount of money because every single one of these issues of Rebirth, all 60-ish that I've read, have this this ad in it in one way or another, either in a single page done small or in this 3-page thing. So you've got Doomsday and he's fighting Superman and Batman and they're like, here, have a Snickers. You really get cranky when you're hungry. And then it's Wonder Woman and she's like, thanks guys, quick thinking. It's and then Snickers. So it's kind of like you're not you when you're hungry, right?
Yeah.
But which is, and it's cute the first time, but
60
times over. There's some issues where it's just one page, which but it's in every single one of these.
Yes. Okay, so so you mentioned the 2 ones that you find the most interesting. So let's go to the second to most favorite. Which one, Arrow or Detective?
Detective's my favorite right now.
Okay, so Arrow. Talk about Arrow.
But Titans is important though. Like I said, Titans is the one to go.
You didn't pick it though.
I like Nightwing too.
You didn't pick that one either.
There's so many good ones, Chris.
Doesn't matter.
Superwoman's really good.
No,
we talked about that earlier.
Nope. Arrow.
What do I like about
That's the
Arrow?
one you're going to try to give your money to.
But I said Detective's my favorite.
It's one of the ones you're going to try to give your money to.
Okay.
But why?
Green Arrow. It's back in Seattle. It's getting him back with. We're here. It's getting him back with Black Canary, which I love that.
Great rebirth issue.
Oh yeah.
Great
Great rebirth issue.
Yep.
It's he's figuring out what is he gonna do with his money. Is he gonna be poor? Because right now he's rich in the beginning. He's rich, but it's how are they going to deal with that like they did with the show? Like, is he going to have money in the new Rebirth universe? Is he not? Is he going to be the philanthropist guy? Like, you know, Green Arrow's kind of like the tree hugger, like, of the Justice League. Like, he's the one who's like, oh, I give like all my money away. Where like Batman's kind of like, I hoard my money, and like Green Arrow's like, give money away. So I think it's kind of fun, and I really like what they're doing with Black Canary. So that was another reason I was super excited about this Birds of Prey, because Birds of Prey was like Black Canary, the Huntress, and Batgirl. I was like, oh my gosh.
It just didn't do anything for you?
Just didn't do it.
Don't go back to that
Still bummed.
Alright, so we're really enjoying Grey now. It's about 5 issues in right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so go through there. Has a main villain been established? Don't talk about who he is, or she. But has a main villain been established these 5 issues in? Okay. Artwork changing?
No, artwork's still good. Same thing. Yeah.
Alright, but your favorite one...
Detective.
So this was a little confusing. I don't quite understand how this worked. I know when Batman first started, he premiered in Detective Comics, and so now that this Rebirth, most of these issues have gone back to issue 1.
Original number.
But Detective has gone to issue 937.
Well, they're at 939 right now, but
yeah.
Or 938, something like that. But it started at 935 or 36.
Okay. So, what is Detective Comics? Detective
Comics is just the one that started it all. So, basically, kind of like how there's Superman and Action Comics. Just Action Comics is a Superman book. It just before they made a book called Superman.
Okay.
He was just in Action Comics.
Okay.
Right? And in Detective Comics, you had Batman.
Will it always be Batman under Detective Comics name? Okay, that makes sense.
And then DC, of course, came from Detective
How many
Comics.
issues have you read of the Detective Comics?
Of the new Batman, I've read all of, like, 5 of them, I think.
Awesome. So, is there an established villain?
There is, and it's so good. It's Batman training. No, it's Batman training a new team of other Batman that he kind of collected from Batman Inc. So you've got I can't remember her name, but there's like the Asian assassin that's like amazing fighter. You've got this new girl who I don't know who it is, and I feel kind of dumb, but she's like kind of dating Red Robin, who's Tim Drake, right? The third Robin. So it's Tim Drake. It's Batwoman. She's training all these people, and Batwoman is actually the cousin of Batman. She's on the the other famous Bat family. There's the Waynes and then the Canes. So she's
Come on. They had to figure out another name for a famous family.
They've been there for a while. It's an old time. It's been for a long time.
The Waynes and the Canes.
Anyway, they've always been a thing because Batman's mom, Martha Wayne, is not Kent. Martha. Why did you say that name, Chris? I said it. It's fine. So yeah, no. Martha was a Kane, and she married into the Wayne family.
Okay.
And that was always like a weird, like, ooh, we're evil families. We won't like each other.
All right. So.
And then there's the Court of Owls are back. Well, it's actually the international. It's the the Parliament of Owls.
I do like that.
That's and so the owls are back.
Does it all take place in Gotham? Seems like a dumb question, but.
Yeah, right now it does.
Okay.
Oh, and then before we go, All-Star Batman's great. We gotta talk about that because that's.
All-Star Batman? Oh, yeah, well...
It's Scott Snyder.
I told you top 2, but...
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
but there's only been 1 issue, so it's hard to get, be like, this is my favorite thing.
So just give a brief 2-sentence synopsis of what it is.
Okay, Two-Face, Harvey Dent said Two-Face, reached out to Batman, says Two-Face is gonna go, like, the evil side, right? The evil Two-Face, he's going crazy, I can't control him anymore, you need to stop me from being Two-Face and do the thing we said to do.
Okay, first sentence.
Batman agrees, takes Two-Face on a road trip, but Two-Face puts out a bounty and says, if you can stop Batman from bringing me to wherever he's going to bring me, I'll give you all the money and not release everybody's dirty secret. And so everyone's coming after them in the road trip.
Okay, so that's exciting. Art is good. I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's Romita Jr. So he was doing a Superman run for a while. It's not Capullo.
No, but that's all right. Okay, so that's pretty interesting. What did you guys think of the DC Rebirth? And let us know in the comments below what your favorite series is and why. And if Taylor was just aggressively wrong, if there's something that I should be reading that he hasn't told me about, let us know in the comments below, or tweet at us, or just yell at us from the street or something if you find us. But we're going to take a quick jump cut break to reset the camera, and we're going to talk a little bit about Suicide Squad and also The Killing Joke. I would like to talk about that.
Okay.
So we'll be right back. Boop! And we're back. So, Suicide Squad came out recently, and depending upon when you're actually watching this or listening to this, Taylor saw it, I didn't see it. I am one that does not believe, or actually, I believe pretty heavily in hype and what people's perspective is a movie. People seem to really hate this movie. I'm not going to give my money to this movie until maybe it comes out.
Critics really hate this movie. People liked it. It had a 76 to 80 percent. As far as people.
Like audience score?
Yeah.
Well, hold on. Is that movie score or is that on Rotten Tomatoes user review? I still don't believe it.
I think all that's bullshit. So weirdly enough, I loved the new Ghostbusters movie. Weirdly enough, there's no weirdly part of it. I loved it, absolutely loved it. But the reviewer score on that is so low because you don't have to have seen the movie to put one of those scores in. So the people score on Rotten Tomatoes could be falsified. So the same thing with Suicide Squad. Some baby
Someone
teenagers
could
that
be
are upset.
making
It's
it look
like,
really
"Wait, it looks
good."
really good, really good. Okay, the movie was okay. The best way I can explain it is like, let's say that there was a mediocre volume 1 of a Suicide Squad story. Like it was okay. I'd be like, you could read it. And then they took that, which is what 6-ish issues, and then had to make a 2-hour movie out of it. And so they
Two and
cut
a
it.
half.
It wasn't. It was a 2.5.
2.5.
Okay, 2.5-hour movie out of it. So
Which is too long for a movie that is just starting a franchise. Sorry.
I don't think that's true. But that's
I
fine,
think it's
Chris.
way too long to invest in time.
Whatever. It doesn't matter, Chris. The point is that it felt like they had a movie,
Yeah.
and then they cut it, and like cut similar problem with Batman vs Superman, where there was this plot like you're just like, why? A lot of the problem with that movie was, why are they doing what they're doing?
Yeah, the big deal was that they had an original trailer that was lukewarm, and then they gave it to this company called Trailer Park, and they recut with the one
Bohemian
with
Rhapsody?
Bohemian Rhapsody, and everyone loved it because they loved the upbeat style of it. It was very
Guardians
different
of the
than
Galaxy-esque
yeah.
feel.
So what happened was allegedly is that there's actually 2 different cuts of the film. In the first film, it kind of takes like it splits it in half. So the movie where they were both competing, the Trailer Park and the actual editing team. Were competing with each other, and they really just came out with 2 different movies. The very dark one that was made by David Ayer, and then the bright poppy reshoots that they had to do towards the end of the movie that was done by the Trailer Park team.
And that's the one that we saw.
Yeah. So, but I've heard it's very disjointed. Like it has a tonally different view when you start, and then there's like a halfway point, and then it just gets weird.
It's what's fun. It's still okay. The movie is fun. Yes, there's no. The plot is very hard. Sometimes, like in the. I mean, that kind of spoiler, but like when they get the reason why they're in the city, they get shot down in their helicopter. There was no explanation of who shot them down, how they got shot down, why the helicopter went down. It was just like, oh no, we're getting shot down, and I was like, but what? Like, what?
That's weird.
Why are we shot down? And then you're like, well, they're on the ground now, so it doesn't matter. And you're like, okay, I guess.
What do you think of Joker?
I thought it was okay. Like everyone, lots of people were like, that's the least favorite part. But what was most interesting to me is the classic Harley Joker relationship is not a good one. So people like anytime you see one of those things, you're like, this is like relationship goals or something. You're like, no.
Joker's very mean.
Joker is an abusive, manipulative person, and Harley is an amazingly smart psychiatrist who has Stockholm syndrome and is dealing with like needing this person even though he doesn't give a shit. Like he will use Harley as a scapegoat every time, which I feel like they did very briefly. So you thought they were going to go that way. In the movie, he escapes and she's stuck in the car, and Batman gets hurt, right? So you're like, oh, they're going to do it this way. That's the right way to do it. And there's definitely cut scenes that you saw in trailers of him backhanding her and all sorts of stuff. But the way they recut it is you feel like Joker genuinely cares about this person, and he's not the same. It's a different relationship. Like you feel like he actually like he's consistently through the movie. His character in the movie pops in and out trying to get Harley back. Like that's like his jam through the whole movie, and it's cool, and I enjoyed it, and it's interesting to be like, wow, they cut this movie to make it seem like Joker and Harley actually do have something there, which I thought was interesting and kind of like that's a cool take.
Okay.
The Joker was a little gangstery, but there's different kinds of Jokers in every book. Like people say that's not my Joker. I said yeah, it's not the animated feature Joker, and it's not
He's
the
the
Killing Joke
douchiest
Joker.
looking Joker though.
Oh yeah,
we can agree. Damage on his forehead.
The rumor is that like lots of that stuff came from after Batman punched his teeth out for killing Robin.
Yeah.
Like, that's why he got the grill, and that's when he got the tattoos, all that stuff.
Yeah, but
So-
the weird thing is that allegedly there was Harley Quinn when she was introduced on screen, spoiler-ish, there was like a brief segment that said implicated in the death of Robin.
Which she helped supposedly.
Right,
purchased.
but what's strange is that when, and this is all I've heard because again I haven't seen it, but what's strange is that when she's with the Joker, when allegedly it was supposed to happen, he already had the tattoo and the teeth gone, or in the grill. So
No, there was no part in the movie that it showed then. There wasn't one.
No, but part of the implication of saying like that before the time that they.
No, but they never show her and him together. They do, but it's in like a dance sequence. It's not like it's saying that that's the moment before he killed.
No, but when they first met, and when she wasn't converted, he had the
already had
tattoo
the
in the
stuff?
teeth.
You're right.
So it wouldn't
They
make any
fucked that
sense.
up.
Yeah. Congratulations,
Huh.
internet. So recommended to go see it or wait for her to rent it. Easy.
No, he didn't have the teeth and stuff because there's a scene. The famous Alex Ross painting, one of the most famous paintings of the Joker and Harley, is called. It's them dancing and she's in like the full outfit.
Yeah, I remember that.
And they did that in the movie.
That's kind of cool.
And so she was in the full thing, and you realize it kind of looks dumb. So I'm glad they didn't do that the whole movie because it doesn't. It works on
Batman
cartoon
series.
or it works in a book, but it just doesn't really work in real life. But he didn't have any of the stuff. He looked like a regular. He didn't have all the tattoos and stuff. So it's kind of like that was the before time. Like they were like, you know.
Maybe.
So I don't know.
I don't know.
What was the
Do
next
you want
thing?
people to go see it, or you want them to rent it?
I think it's good. I liked it. You know,
It
it already
had
made
one of the
$500 million. So
Had one of the steepest drop-offs weekend over weekend though, which is pretty.
But that was
pretty
by
telling.
third weekend though.
No, second weekend.
Oh really?
Yeah, it dropped like
it
60%.
still made $500 million.
Which is just insane to me. But does this make you worried about Wonder Woman? How they have not gotten these movies right yet?
The only thing that yes, but more so, I think Wonder Woman is probably solid. But what makes it bad is that you have a bad rap beforehand. You already are expecting it to be bad because DC doesn't have a very good track record to this point. So I wanted Suicide Squad to be good so that Wonder Woman had a better shot at doing good at the box office. People not just hating it. Yeah, and not just like going, I'm not gonna see that the other ones were bad. Yeah, because it's a female director, it's female lead. Like we've never had this is the first female-led superhero movie.
And it's
and
on either side, looks very good.
On either side of Marvel or DC, no one's had that yet. That's awesome.
Well, all right. So go out, I guess, to the theater and see it. Maybe go on like a Sunday morning, so you can get like early morning prices, so you don't have to pay a whole lot to do that.
I'd give it like a 7
out of 100. Okay.
It was fun. There's plot holes, but there's Batman and the Flash.
Why would you whisper that and not spoiler?
The Flash is in Suicide Squad. He catches Captain Boomerang.
Sorry about that.
Captain Boomerang. Damn, he's a rogue.
Ugh. All right, so the other one that I want to talk about that I actually saw, I watched on my flight over here, and we're going to talk briefly about it, was The Killing Joke. Mm-hmm. I thought it was okay. The animation style, I was not a fan of when the trailer dropped. Did not like the animation style. I liked seeing the actual shots that were recreated from the comic. Mm-hmm. That was kind of fun. But the first half of the movie with Batgirl was totally messed up.
Unnecessary.
Very creepy.
And weird.
Just very strange to watch. And
at least in my brain canon, she's like 23. It makes it a little bit better.
No, it just doesn't make sense to me.
She's in college.
I get that, but it's just watching it and then there's no lead up to why they...
I want to say, for one, I can understand a early 20 girl wanting to fuck Batman. Who wouldn't? I want to fuck Batman. Everyone wants to fuck Batman.
Naturally.
But I don't understand Batman allowing that to happen.
And just
that's what Batman.
And they never go back and talk about it.
Batman that I know would be like, no, you're young. Like he hardly lets people go on missions that he thinks they're not ready for. So like, her, but he's gonna have sex with her. Like he wouldn't. He has sex with Catwoman. He's fine. Okay,
that was
the
weird.
capes stay on.
Yeah, and then so then after that whole thing happened, they got into the proper Killing Joke. I thought it was a little reserved.
They forced the rape stuff down your throat. Like they didn't even let you.
You didn't even know.
Well, in the book, they left it.
It was subtle.
It was subtle.
Open-ended.
But it was not open-ended.
Very clear.
It was very like the director's like, she was raped.
Yep, she was raped.
And you're like, wow. All right.
Yeah, so it was just a weird movie. I thought like there was
the voice actors was great.
I thought they were okay.
It was everyone from the animated series.
I thought his Joker was good, but just not exactly what I wanted. I don't know. The pacing was kind of strange. It was very quick. Like it was an hour and a half, no, a little bit less, maybe an hour and like 17 minutes.
Something like that.
But it was okay.
I mean, that's why I guess you have to understand, like, they put in that extra, 10 minutes a movie, 10, 15 minutes a movie with Batgirl stuff just to make it longer. Yeah. But I would have preferred the movie to start. And, like, you can make the argument of, like, well, no one knows Batgirl or why, like, Batgirl's Batgirl.
Valid.
And you're like, okay, so that's why they explained that she's a badass, like, she did cool stuff.
All they had to do was literally cut out the scene where they had sex. And then maybe the scene afterwards where she's, like, begging to go back with him or something.
Like, talk to him or something.
You could have kept the part where he's angry at her. And
they kind of wrote her as, like, this whiny young girl, which I don't think she should be. No, Barbara Gordon is like a
very strong,
awesome. Gosh.
Yeah. So let us know what you guys thought about it. You can only rent it now. It was in theaters for like a very limited release. And if you want to, go ahead and check it out. I think you can rent it for like $5 and give it a shot and let us know what you think about it.
If you liked the original comic, once you get past the Batgirl part, it is almost shot for shot.
It is, yeah. Definitely.
And so that's great. And they didn't allude enough to the fact that he might have snapped the Joker's neck in that scene.
I think they made it pretty clear he didn't. There was no sound.
They're making there's no sound in the comic either, but it's a comic book.
Yeah, there's a basic understanding, but yeah, here
and so that was
it's
the
more
thing,
definitive when there's
which
a sound.
Which was interesting about this is it was definitely one guy's take on this book.
Yes,
and what you're watching is the director, I assume the director's what he thought the book was and what he decided was important to highlight or important to do, and not like which I feel like the comic book is so strong and it is so revered. And like holds up the song as like the greatest Joker story ever, is because there was all these subtleties. The Joker is way more evil than he ever has been before. He paralyzes Barbara Gordon, right? But whether just the fact that he paralyzed her and took weird pictures of her to show her dad was enough of a mind rape in a way, or whether he actually raped her is up to the reader, as well as the idea. Obviously, it's a canon story, so he couldn't have snapped his neck realistically because we made a canon. But the idea that if you read this in a bubble. Batman broke and laughs with the Joker and then just kills him. He's like, you know what, you're right, I can't handle you anymore, and just snaps his neck at the end. Which is a fun idea.
That's how this show's gonna end.
Chris just snaps my neck.
No, I was thinking you would.
Oh,
you just give up. No, you just give up on trying to teach me comics, and I'm just like, goodbye. All right, so everyone, that was Comic Chat with Gat. Let us know. We've gone through a lot of things. We reviewed last week our top comic that we recommend to you guys, and that was Supergirl #1
and Superwoman.
Superwoman from the week previous. We also talked about some of the greatest comics that weren't part of the DC Rebirth, and saying the one you really should go after over the last couple months was Civil War.
Civil War 2.
Civil War 2, pardon me. And then of course DC Rebirth, the ones you should probably avoid: Birds of Prey and.
Birds of Prey and Justice League.
And yeah, see, it's so forgettable.
Oh, I haven't even picked up Aquaman, so apparently that one's not that good either.
Anyway. And then the one you should actually go after, though, Green Arrow, highly recommended, as well as Detective Comics
and All-Star Batman.
Nope, you don't get all. You get two.
And Titans.
Whatever. All right, and then we also talked about Suicide Squad, which it's a rent. And then the same thing for The Killing Joke. It's kind of like, I don't know if you should really see it, but if you are really interested in The Killing Joke and their interpretation of it, go ahead and go check it out. Make sure you leave us a comment below talking about your favorite comics that have come out over the last couple months. We have been on a hiatus, and we will probably be on another hiatus because it's really hard to make me.
We'll do a wedding
chat with Gat. That would be pretty fun. So we'll see you guys in a couple months. But otherwise, yeah. So subscribe to the channel. You guys are finding our videos. It's really exciting, and subscribing to the channel and commenting on old videos that you liked because we have a lot of things like learning about Doctor Strange. We'll put that right there. You can learn about Doctor Strange. There's things that I've talked about for... We never did one for Suicide Squad. It was probably just timing. We did some great Let's Plays. No, I'm saying like how to learn
about them.
But it doesn't matter. And then we also have some Let's Plays on there for different DC deck building games. And yeah, go ahead and check out our channel. See what you like. And also, go ahead and subscribe and check out CBX Cast. That is the partner channel for the Comic Chat with Gat. And you can watch Taylor and Joe and Kyle.
Yep.
And
Justin now.
And Justin now. 4 people on a podcast. That is just madness. And so we're talking about video games and life and love. And then there's also Keeping It Real.
Real Retro.
Real Retro. Damn it, I thought I had it.
And they're about to start new season 2, so Becky is moving away from being the main host because she just doesn't have time. And so season 2 should be interesting because it'll be a different thing. But their last episode on the Newsies was just fantastic.
Yeah,
so
Real Retro.
That's
where they go over movies pre-2005.
Yeah.
Which are my kind of movies. Not. But yeah, it's really great to go on there and learn about the movies and see if you should watch it or not. So go ahead and subscribe to that too. But yeah, otherwise, thanks for taking a view. I am Chris Gadley.
Taylor Catcher.
Bye.
See you later.
Go buy comics.
More comics.
Support your comic shop.
Read Titans.
Or just get a tablet and buy it off of Comixology like I do.
Read Nightwing.
Read Nightwing?
Well, Nightwing, Detective,
Goodbye.
and Batman are all...
What are you doing?
What am I doing? Bachelor party hiking trip. Forgot why I don't like to drive, and then...
You're stuck in this.
Then we're stuck in this, Chris. We're stuck.
You're stuck.
We're stuck.
You're stuck. F***ing terrible.
Let's keep talking.
No, I'm really excited about trying to see about maybe living out here. I'm not paying this shit. $1,500 to live where? It doesn't even have the fucking... I have to eat it?
Eat it. Keep going.
Oh.
Wait, keep going.
They taste like death and,
but then
and
the sour. I'm actually at 2 bachelor parties at the same time. I've got Chris, obviously, but also Jake.
Like, if medical professionals wear them, like, yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
You might as well think of that way.
We got more people for the bachelor party. We did it.
No, I don't drive. I have a car. Just be bad at it.
Yeah.
It's that they have to
All this is funny to me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I like the
on and makes every goddamn decision. And it just barely exceeded 90 degrees, and we're like, we can't do this anymore, you guys. Let's just set everything on fire and call it quits. I'm done. Yeah, and like, really speaking, if Darwin was just right, then it wouldn't have kept it. They cannot agree.
It's twice now that you disappointed me.
Shut up, Chris.
The worst part about it is.
Oh, okay.
But we're gonna get crepes.
Alright, what do we do now?
You kill things. Titanfall 2 beta.
Yeah,
You're pissed off me.
absolutely. What in the world?
You're safe.
Yeah, thank you.
We don't know what's wrong. The 4 is lit. We don't know why. We must fix it.
Oh, mother. That's why I hate video games.
Pong on Disney Pong.
Ah, there we go.
Oh,
Shit for me distracted.
Yeah.
Alright, first to 10.
And this is how war games happen. Some silly computer.
Only 2300? What?
Only 2300. Tell me about those brakes.
Ceramic brakes versus V brakes. It's
Right.
the new thing.
The new thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not keep the spirit. Remove one damage. I can't tell you guys what's going on.
Oh. Can you?
That color is so in vogue.
What's the